Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. All right, the Clayton County Board of Commissioners work session is now called to order. The date is August 11, 2026, and the time is 5:30 p.m. At this time, board members, are there any preliminary items from the August 18, 2026 regular board business meeting that you'd like to discuss at this time or have any questions about?
One second.
You good, Commissioner? Commissioner Reeves, are you good? All right, seeing none, we will move along. Next, we will move to agenda items, part 3. The first agenda item will be travel and expense management program for county officials and staff, and that will be from our CFO, Mr. Terry Jackson, and Ms. Sherry Schuler.
Good evening, Board of Commissioners. I am delighted to be joined by Ms. Sherry Schuler, who is the Senior Sales Executive for SAP Concur. This evening, Finance is presenting a recommendation to select SAP Concur in partnership with American Express Global Business Travel as the county's official travel management program. Thank you. So where the county struggles currently with regard to the current program, we struggle with efficiency, cost savings, and compliance. During my short time here, I've observed a manual process with the travel management program. As many of you are familiar with, we currently use buzz forms in order to do travel reservations, whether it be for flights or hotels or car rentals. And we're also purchasing travel accommodations at market rate. And so unfortunately, when we do that, we're not able to take advantage of discounted or government pricing. Under SAP Concur, the county would be able to access government rates and discounted rates as well. And so also compliance, and this is the most important reason for switching to SAP Concur. The county does have a compliance issue with regard to travel accommodations. During my short time here, I've had to unfortunately cancel and reject travel requests for travelers trying to secure luxury hotel suite accommodations for various travel. And so, for example, with a program like SAP Concur in place, that would prevent those type of hotel accommodations. And so with that being said, I am happy to introduce Ms. Sherry Schuler, who will provide an overview of the SAP Concur program.
Thank you, Ms. Schuler. You can come up to the mic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You just hit that button.
Just this one, okay. Thank you, Board of Commissioners, for having me. Nice to meet you all. As Terry mentioned, SAP Concur is truly about creating efficiencies, cost savings, and enhanced compliance for the county. So a couple highlights here. When thinking about how does Concur do that? There are some key areas that the county will benefit from. First, it's approximately somewhere between $3 to $5 in savings for every dollar spent on the software platform itself. There are 40-plus documented categories of savings to the county. We embed your policy to enforce compliance with an easy-to-use solution for end users. And then we deliver real-time visibility on all of that spend across the entire county with a audit-ready and obviously reduced fraud risk. Just some executive highlights. Concur is the world's leading travel and expense supplier with over 45,000 customers globally. So we have the experience. And we understand that there's always that balance, right? Software. It's really about delivering to the end user an easy-to-use solution, and at the same time giving finance and county executives the visibility and oversight on that spend. So just again, the highlights, the $3 to $5 savings for every dollar spent, 40-plus areas of documented cost savings from categories across air, car, hotel. On average, when we did the analysis and working with Terry and his team, there's approximately a $60 per hotel booking savings to the county. And then because we embed your policy into the software, employees can't go around it, right? And oftentimes it's not that they want to, it's that you don't know where it exists, right? But when you embed and configure the policy into the software, it directs the employee in an easy-to-use way and how the spend is intended to happen. Current state, I think Terry covered it real well, so just stay high level. Today it's very manual. It is form-based. Because of that, there's no real-time visibility. The visibility comes after the dollar's already spent. And then just even limited visibility into the booking. Could you be consolidating the vendors that you're spending money with to gain even more leverage and negotiation power? And then fragmented card programs, right? There's a lot of different card programs. The program is, with Concur, the nice thing is the platform is it's like the stable base. So you can change out your card programs. You can change out suppliers without any concerns or having to re-platform Concur. And then the travel policy today. There is one. We know it exists. It's not super easy to find. With Concur, because we embed it, it actually directs the employee on how money is intended to be spent when it comes to travel. And then fraud compliance, exposure, manual processes, paper-based, they oftentimes can create opportunity for misspent. And with automation, because we're automating the entire process that's fully seamlessly connected, we're doing the audit on every single expense line, every single dollar that's run through Concur. So it frees up finance's time to stay on their tasks that are much more meaningful and strategic for the county.
Gotcha.
So what is the SAP Concur solution? We are a single cloud platform that is fully interconnected from pre-spend authorization, so being able to put together a request to travel, giving people insight into what that cost should be expected to be, and then once that is approved through your configured workflow, it can automatically book that travel. The goal is to have those two be less time, because we know if approval to book is within 24 hours, those costs should be the same. It's when you have delayed in your processes that those costs don't mirror up. And so having an interconnected one single platform, we shorten the time to approval. And then once that travel is booked, the support is in the travel management partner that we partner with. They are there, and we'll get into a little more detail, but they're really there to provide those cost savings, duty of care, and ensure that your dollars are being spent the way you intend them to be. And then expense management, all of this spend ends up on an expense report. So to have all of that travel and some non-travel, right? There could be just mileage reports, right, within the county. Having all of that integrate into an expense report automatically on the employee's behalf, whether it's coming from the travel booking tool, the request that was approved, or mobile application, and being able to take pictures of receipts, and then calculating mileage on behalf of the employee. We're creating that expense report for them, and it's all compliant, and it's all within your policy spend. So what that really then gives you is governance over all of this spend, and finance and leadership, the reporting that they need, and insight. So where do the air travel cost savings really come from? I'm just gonna quickly go through these. Airline expired fare waivers. They have the ability, because you now have the support of a travel management company, to help you manage those tickets. Ticket void management. If for some reason somebody leaves the county, there's a ticket out there, they can help you redirect that ticket to another employee of the county so that those monies don't go wasted, right? Unused tickets, similar situation. With a formal travel tool and management behind that, if an employee's travel gets canceled for any reason, that ticket stays in their profile, and that travel management company is going to ensure that that ticket gets used rather than just goes unused. Business programs and corporate discounts. So strategically redeem airline corporate programs, points for high-cost tickets, upgrades, employee travel. So these travel management companies go out every year at the end of the calendar year, and they pre-negotiate for negotiated rates for air, hotel, car for the next year, and they leverage all of their customer spend. And those savings trickle down to all of our customers day one from their programs. Not only that, but if you have corporate vendor programs in place today, we can ensure and direct employees are spending that money where you intend them to. Fare finder and low fare monitoring. This is the automated system that will continuously scan for better rates. So even if a trip is booked in Concur, air, hotel, and the rates drop, our software is constantly checking that, so they will rebook it at that lower fare cost, and the employee gets notified, finance gets notified. Penalty waivers and name changes. With a travel management partner supporting the software, they have the ability to waive those fees that you're currently paying today. Not to mention that the actual cost for fulfillment in the way you're doing it today, with our online tool, we will save you 2/3 of that cost to fulfill a ticket, because these travel management companies are only being paid to do the ticket fulfillment on the airline, not on, there is no additional booking fees. And then the last but probably most important is that travel management company is there to support the county in managing to duty of care to your employees. So if there is a natural disaster, act of God, and you have employees traveling somewhere, you now have support that will help you get your employees out of harm's way. And hotel, ground, and program savings beyond air travel, Concur managed travel programs. The hotel rate assurance program is probably the biggest savings for the county, because it's that automatic rate auditing identifies 40% of bookings with an average $60 per night reduction in booking fees of rates that you're getting today. So you're getting a better rate. And this is the ROI. Based on our analysis, for every dollar invested, your ROI is somewhere between $3 to $5. And we really talked about all those areas. This is just another highlighted slide. This is being a little, and then benefits beyond cost savings. So compliance and governance, we've talked a little bit about that, having your policy embedded in the software. Finance operations, real-time department spend dashboards, accruals fed directly into finance, automated card reconciliation, and then ERP integration. Because we know that's your system of record, we're just improving the process on the front end. Employee experience, that's the other piece of this that's really key. Because Concur is a very mature platform and software, we understand that it has to be easy to use because it's only as good as user adoption. Should I take questions now before the demo?
I'll ask the board members if they need questions at this time.
Yeah, do you want to see a quick demo?
Yeah, you can show it to us.
Okay, good. Okay. So I'm going in my concur. I'm not a solution advisor.
Okay.
So you're actually seeing live data, so I'm not gonna fully book anything, but I'm gonna give you a really quick tour of the software. Uh-oh. Well, I was going to. Oh. Yes. Good, there we go. Yeah, thank you. There we are. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is, can I see?
You can see this one, yeah.
It came up, now it's back up.
Okay, good. So this is the Concur homepage. Everything in Concur is role-driven, so I can only do the things that my role at my company allows me to. So in this case, I can create a request, which would be, I need to go, let's say it's a conference. And I'm going United States. Let's say my travel is out to, let's say I'm going the 20th to the 22nd. And I am going to Orlando, Florida. This is, I'm just gonna say customer facing because that's what it wants me to. All of these drop-down menus are configurable, and we only turn on fields that our customers want turned on. So it's extremely configurable to your needs, your policy. And within this request, I didn't give it a prompt. There we go. So, and I spelled it wrong, that's okay. So in this request, what it's telling me is my average flight from Fort Myers to Orlando would be $224. And it's telling me my average hotel for 2 nights should be $470. How we're getting this data is we have we've booked thousands of flights, and so we're taking all of that intelligence. And leveraging it to the request. This in and of itself will be a cost savings for the county, because now you have the data that you might not have access to today, so you would know what that should be. So I'm gonna get out here, but because if I submit it, it'll go through, but you would literally hit submit, and this would go through the configured workflow, and any approver in the process would be notified by email that they have a request to approve. The goal is to get that approved under 24 hours so that what gets booked is the same as the actual. So now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna book a trip. And it's gonna look really familiar to all of you most likely, because it is designed to mirror, or I'm gonna go Atlanta to Orlando. And I'm just gonna push these dates out again because 20th to the 22nd. I'm gonna include accommodations because, I'm gonna choose any time because I know I'm gonna get more flights, more options, and I'm gonna include accommodations. Let's say I want to go to stay by the Orlando Conference Center. Orange County Convention Center, I want to stay within 3 miles. It's now going to search flights. And so what it's doing is it's pulling down all of the inventory that's available that the travel management partner actually brought into our software. And it's going to rank this based on policy. So of course, it's going to want me to book a $42 round trip on Frontier. I don't think I've seen a flight quite that cheap in a long time. And if you'll see a couple things to note here. The star means it's the least cost logical fare. You can put these on, you don't have to. It's really based on your policy. The triangle shows out of policy, so if I do book that, I might have to leave a comment why I chose something that's above the least logical fare or out of policy. So I'm just gonna do this for ease of use, book this, select the fare. And now what it's doing is it's going to pull in the return trip. And as it processes, what it's actually doing is it's sending this data back to the travel management partner that supports the software so that they can do the ticketing. Because once this reservation is complete, this is actually ticketed. Oh, I know, I'm sure. I've never seen a 42 flight, but
The price was too good to be true.
I think it was. But, so it's gonna research now. So it's just taking a minute. We're just gonna do this. We're gonna book out a policy because we know that that exists. And I'm on public Wi-Fi, so here we go. Book out a policy. This is gonna prompt me to write a comment in here. And then you can select, you know, you can put your reason why, right? For me, it's gonna be time preference. I'm just gonna click, book and continue. And then from here, as it's booking, it's ticketing the airline, my airfare. It's now gonna pull up all the hotels. And again, it's gonna be the same thing. You get to choose how you want, you know, notifications. Do you want hotels out of policy? If you want certain things out of policy and for them not to even be able to be booked, you can actually hide those. It's your choice, again, based on policy. So now we've got my room. I'm selecting my room. And yep, I've read this. I'm not gonna do that. No special requests. Oh, form of payment. Okay, so this is where I have to stop on the demo because I can't book this, because if I do this,
It's gonna go through.
Yes. So I'm gonna stop, but all I would do is do book and continue, and I would be sent my full itinerary. And here's what happens once that happens. The airline, the hotel is booked. It actually begins and creates an expense report for me based on the dates of my travel. So this is my itinerary for an upcoming trip that I have back here to Buckhead for our conference. And I was just gonna see, this is the report for my trip in 2 weeks. And so from here, what will happen is once I check out of my hotel portfolio will come in here because we have over 200 direct connects with travel suppliers. The goal is to make it easy on the employees so they use the software. And you have the guardrails and the embedded into the software. And then in addition, I didn't bring my phone up here, but pretty much everything I just did on my computer, you can do in our mobile app. So as you're going along the way, if let's say I forgot a notebook and I'm at this conference, I might go have to buy a notebook at CVS. I could take a picture of the receipt, and based on the dates of my trip, that image and all of the expense line item data would create a line item on this expense report for me. And then once I'm back from the trip, all I have to do is validate I didn't miss anything. Did all my Uber transactions come in, because we have a direct connect with Uber. And if everything is there, I've done my audit, all my receipts are attached, I click submit, and then this expense report goes through another approval workflow. Once all expenses are approved, we then share all of that approved spend data with your financial system, which is Tyler Munis.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
All right, board members, are there any questions at this time?
Yes.
Yes, Commissioner Hambrick?
A lot of our travel, we do attend conferences and all.
Yeah.
And they offer discounts on the hotels and all. Do you all have something that I guess can
Match that.
match or do better as far as pricing is concerned?
So some of them, we might be able to. That's a travel management company's responsibility, and we'd get the details on that. What I can tell you is that typically I find those conference rates, you can't beat them. But the benefits of Concur is that we have a direct connect to all of those conference hotels. So when the employee checks out of that conference hotel, that portfolio comes into Concur, into their expense report, and it's already itemized out. So I find, because I go to a lot of conferences, my room rates are never the same. And depending on where I go, I can have 7 to 10 line items of taxes. And if I were to sit there and manually enter all of that, that would take me 30 minutes. And now it takes me nothing because we're bringing those in and it's already all itemized out.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the price on this for this particular software?
So the pricing is estimated to be around $33,000 currently. We're working to get that number lowered. Right now, the process as far as the contract review sits with procurement. And so they've already received some information. And so I am going to be in contact with procurement tomorrow to get that number reduced. But ideally, we'd like to see that number around 28.5 as far as it including also setup fees, which are required in order to get the program off the ground.
Okay. And also, I'd like to see that once you get that done. So please send me a copy of that. Just and also, so a lot of times when we're booking our flights, let's say for instance, we may get something a month ahead of time. And then what the issue has been is that sometimes our travel department or whoever's working in that department will wait two weeks before and actually book the flight. Will there be a difference in that price through your software?
So I don't know if I completely understand
So what
the
I'm saying
question.
is, let's say for instance, if I go in August and the flight is $225,
Yeah.
and then my in September, we'll say the middle of September, I'm supposed to fly out. We don't book the flight until 2 weeks before it's time to do it. Of course, that flight is going to go up. If it was $225 in August, by September that flight is going to go up double. And so that's been the issue. So when the flights go up double like that, that means that we end up having to pay more money.
Right.
So that's why your travel expenses go up and things of that nature. So will you all still be able to get? Will you all still be able to get that $225, or is it going to double just like it does with with Delta or whoever the airline company is?
Yeah. So we don't control the vendor pricing, right? But what we can do in Concur that you can't do today is we can build in a policy where you don't allow flights to be booked 14 days out.
Okay.
You have to book, so we can tie the request approval to the trip, to the booking, so that has to be done at that time. That's where your biggest cost savings opportunities lie.
And that's why we haven't been getting the cost savings
Right.
because you can't wait to the last minute and book a flight, and then the flight is triple or double that cost by the time it's time for you to go. And so when things are held up like that, then that's why the county is incurring all of that cost, because we're waiting too late or waiting 2 weeks before the flight goes out, and then we end up with a double or triple that price, and then that's when you have a allotted amount. So let's say, for instance, if my allotted amount is $20,000, if by the time if it doubles or triples, you're using all of that money, and then it keeps trickling down, trickling down, and trickling down. So that is one of the issues that we keep having.
And again, we can build those guardrails in where
Okay.
you don't even allow them to book 14 days out. They have to book 21,
Okay.
you know.
But then, and the person won't get, if the person has to go to the conference, they won't make it to the conference. That's the issue.
and
So
Madam-
that's why we have to change our practices on our end to make it right.
Correct.
And also, Madam Chair, under this new program, we would encourage the traveler to book the trip as soon as they know that they have to go.
And again, that's what we've been trying to do, but
Yeah.
for some reason, I don't know what the issue has been, but they will wait to the very last minute, and things triple, double, whatever by then, and it's just not been working like that.
Yeah.
So that's something that we've got to work on our end, and we need to, and that's why I'm being transparent about it, so everybody can hear that part.
Yeah.
And know that if you wait to the last minute, then that flight's gonna double or triple.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with the right tool in place, I think it'll help support that early booking, connecting the request to the travel booking on the front end, so that when it gets approved, it gets booked, is massively beneficial to the county.
All right, board members, are there any other questions at this time?
Yes, two questions. First question, Mr. Jackson, is the 28.5 budgeted in your budget?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Okay, and the next question, if the board was to adopt this, how long does onboarding take?
Well, approximately 90 days from the time that the contract is signed. In addition to 90 days, we would need to build in some training time as well. So we're looking at no more than 120 days to go live with the program.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions at this time or comments?
So, question. Commissioner Allen addressed the question that I had.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for your presentation. And again, I like the software. It's really good. I just want to see where the board is on it, and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Let's move on to item 2, advisory support services update by Pond and Company and Director GK. Is Pond here as well? Come on up. Ricky Clark, please come to the podium expeditiously.
Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, good evening.
Good evening. Oh, Lord. That means y'all are sitting in the seats there. Y'all's fine.
We're going to deduct all that from our contract.
Too late now.
We have 3 critical projects
Okay.
that will impact our county in coming years. The zoning rewrite, the housing study, and the opportunity to strengthen economic development that will eventually end up with us having a strong economic development strategy. So this evening, if you look at these 3 studies and projects, they all center around what it is we've been preaching, how we want to change the county, the economic health of the county. All 3 work with each other. They all will help us do what we're talking about. So this evening, on the economic development opportunities to strengthen our economic development plan, we have Pond and Company who are here tonight to give you a presentation / update on what they have done, what they found, what they have done, and what they will continue to do. And with that, I will invite Mr. Clark to come up, and he will in turn introduce his team.
Mr. Clark. Dr.
Good
Clark.
evening, members of the Clayton County Board of Commissioners, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and all of you on the dais. I'm thrilled to be here with you today, even though my seat almost broke when I sat down. So, Commissioner Hambrick, I'll be sending you something in the mail for that. But no, so I'd like to introduce the team so we can get down to business and talk about what we've uncovered and what's been done, as well as what's to come. So I'll start to my far left. We have Ms. Myrna White, who is assisting us in this effort. We also have Clemente Q. I won't try to mispronounce his last name. Clemente works for our private development division of PON. Ms. Janity Sitterfall, who is the program director, and Mr. Mitchell Lloyd, who's the program manager for this particular project. I'm going to call Mitchell and Janity up to the presentation and let y'all run through it, and I'll close out if need be.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's so nice to see all of you. And thank you for this opportunity to bring you an update on what we've been doing in terms of providing some economic development advisory services to you. We've had the opportunity to meet with all of you individual and have enjoyed those conversations. And now we just want to kind of wrap it up and let you know what we've been doing, what we've heard, and where we're going to be going with this. There we go. So just to give you a quick overview, we're going to recap our project purpose. You all understand it and know it well. This was the charge you gave us at the beginning. And we're going to walk through just a little bit of what we heard. Trust me, we've been doing this for a few months now, so we heard a lot, but we're going to synthesize some of that and tell you a little bit about what we've been learning, and then how we're going to use all of that information to move our initiative forward. And so Mitchell Lloyd will walk us through a lot of our key findings and what we've learned through looking at your parcels that are available, your public land, looking at your processes, because those are extremely important to support the work that you're doing. And then talking about how we're going to pull all this together and develop a strategic direction. And I like to call it a strategic action framework, because we want to specify what those actions will be, who's going to be responsible for them, and what type of timelines we want to put to them to accomplish them. So just very briefly, we signed up to help you strengthen Clayton County's economic competitiveness. And by doing so, we are providing you with strategic advisory services, leadership development, organizational support, and implementation assistance that's going to enhance your ability to attract not just development, but businesses, and be able to not just attract them, but retain them for Clayton County's long-term prosperity. We started off with a 90-day action plan to launch our work. A lot of that was data gathering, talking to stakeholders, talking to you, talking to staff, talking to people who do business with Clayton County and understanding what's working and what's not working. Pulling all of that information together, looking at how your business processes are working, how your standard operating procedures are working. What are the barriers to attracting and retaining businesses and development? All of those types of things we've pulled together into an action plan, and we're going to use that action plan as a framework to launch our execution of how Clayton County can market and have tools ready to attract and retain business and development. And so with that, I'll pass it over to our project manager, Mitchell Lloyd, who will walk you through some of the specifics of what we've heard, what we've learned, and where we're going. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd. Come on up.
Thank you. Good evening. So I'm in charge of a little show and tell here. So first I'm going to start with the organization operation assessment. So like Janet mentioned earlier, we had the opportunity to meet with you all, county staff, and other individuals within the county to be able to talk about what economic development looks like, what some of those opportunities are. And here I just wanted to really point out some key findings that we found through those conversations. So first, the importance of keeping that cross-departmental process and collaboration going. So understanding what those tools are so we can share information, share tools, share updates, and share information across departments. Next, identifying some of those key openings within the departments, be able to fill those, but then also being able to invest in our professional development to keep our teams and our members ahead of the curve, so they can take on this work that any services that we're providing them and be able to run with them in their daily tasks. Next is really taking a look at that improvement with business entry. So reducing those barriers for businesses looking to invest and create in the county, identifying opportunities to streamline processes, approvals, and that public-facing the portals and information sharing so we can ensure that those processes run smoothly. And lastly, expanding our integration of technology, and as we will touch on a little bit later, really setting out that clear vision for economic development here in Clayton County. Next, I'm going to touch on our parcel developability tool. This is a popular tool that we've been seeing throughout the region and throughout the country, where we are leveraging the data that the county has and open data sources to be able to layer that data and compare it to opportunities for developability. So we've been able to identify county-owned land parcels and be able to prioritize what some of those nodes are located near those, what some of those investment corridors for corridor investment for mobility improvements, and being able to lay those out with a data-driven process to be able to support some decision making. As we identified those parcels, we have developed a evaluation criteria with staff on a variety of different topics, and this is a living tool. And as more information becomes available, more information become enriched and updated as new investments occur, as new mobility improvements happen, we can keep that data as updated as possible. But also we can gear towards different developability opportunities, whether that's housing, whether that's commercial, mixed use. We can use this tool and be able to customize it to elevate the high-ranking scores the high-ranking parcels of property that the county owns, to be able to identify what parcels are most ideal for developability inside the county. So I'm going to run through a couple examples. There's a full report that the county staff has, so we're more than willing to be able to work with them to get you any information you need. But this is an example of one of those parcels that we took through that evaluation process. So on the left-hand side, you see that parcel map with some of the data overlaid onto it. But most importantly, on the right-hand side, you see that little bit list where we have those different categories identified, from topography, from site size, from distance to sewers, water, floodplains, and a variety of different others, where we identified a scoring system, a scoring matrix, to be able to provide these parcels with a scoring so we can understand which would more likely be performed in a positive way and which had restrictions and limitations on developability. This is the portion I mentioned can be customized. If there are particular parcels around residential, particular categories around residential that are important, we can customize that criteria to reflect that. Around commercial, around mixed use, we can customize the criteria to really call out those parcels that are more suited for that type of development. So this is just another example, so you'd be able to get a feel of what's included in this tool. And like I said, this is a living tool that county staff would have to be able to utilize and update and cater to their needs when they're engaging with the development community. And then here, Janet mentioned earlier that we took a look at your processes, your entitlements, your permitting process, your licenses, and being able to make some recommendations on how to really improve and streamline that process. So here are just 7 high-level categories that some of our recommendations fell in. One of which, of course, identifying how we can use technology to make our processes more efficient, to share, to get away from paper-based reviews and interaction with the public, to be able to streamline that and ensure that we can make that process a lot more seamless. Also identifying any duplicate functions, unnecessary steps, to really take out some of the robustness of some of the processes and make it more streamlined so that could be more appealing to individuals looking to invest and to build here in the county. But also and then lastly, that customer experience, making sure that we create some sort of feedback loop that as individuals go through the development process, our permitting, that we are able to understand what the challenges were, if there are any barriers that they're falling against, and that we can work with staff and be informed to identify what those barriers are and to really try to smooth that out and streamline those processes so we can continue to create a welcoming environment for those looking to do business here in the county. And last but not least, touching on our leadership cohort, like Janet mentioned earlier, that vision for economic development here in the county is super important because we want to make sure that we have the right, you all, staff, and your local partners in the room to be able to co-create what that means, what that vision is, so we can be able to roll up the goals, the strategies, the performance measures, and the incentives up under that goal so we can have so staff and us can have a clear process on how we want to execute that. That starts with us working with staff to identify a time and a date to get all those individuals in the room to co-create that vision, but then also working with staff to engage with the development community, to host some developer roundtables, to be able to understand what their challenges are, what their needs are, what their priorities are, and then also provide the county opportunity to talk about priorities, priority sites, priority policy, priority functions, and development that the county is prioritizing, to be able to socialize that with the development community and see where the interest lies, to be able to co-create some partnerships. And to go along with that, we want to be able to create what we call a developer playbook. That is a combination, a county branded playbook that provides instructions, contacts, information, these maps, sources for data, who to talk to, who to engage with, and what that process looks like. So anyone who's looking to do business here in the county will have a clear path and that's called out, that has resources, that have contacts attached to it, so there could be a seamless process and we can get business continuing to grow here in the county. So wrapping up here with next steps, our next steps is really working with county staff to identify a proper date and time to invite you all in, and our staff and partners to really set that vision for economic development, and then also start to engage with the development community to have those roundtables to identify their needs and also vocalize the county's needs and where their opportunities and partnerships may lie. And that brings us to the end. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, board members, are there any questions at this time?
Not a question, but more of a feedback.
Okay.
I think that it'll be easier, I can't speak for the board, but maybe a SWOT analysis, something as simple as that would have been great for us to see, because this is a lot of jargon, and I know for sure you guys have lost just about everyone in the audience. So something as simple, I mean, this is great, but a simple SWOT analysis for me will be great. So if someone can get that to me based on your 30, 60, 90 day, if you can email me a SWOT analysis, I'm fine with that. And that's just my comment. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner. And so we have loads and loads of data that we obtain from these assessments. The beauty of it is we're able to take, matter of fact, we already have it. We did it.
Oh,
we
perfect.
actually did it. We
Okay,
just didn't
thank
show
you.
it today. We have it. So we'll make certain, I'll circulate that to all of the commissioners tomorrow. You know, the one thing that was interesting to me is that all 5 commissioners agreed on every last aspect of this economic development work, as well as it was interesting to us, and I think it'll come out even more at this roundtable this month, the concepts of how each commissioner and the various districts want to see their areas developed. You know, so we met with Commissioner Reeves. We understand what her focal points were. Commissioner Allen going to some of the sites, seeing the opportunities for redevelopment. Chairwoman Anderson Henry has really been focused on making certain that there are alignment between our partners like Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport and the things that are going to come from that. Commissioner Hambrick, you know, since she's been here the longest, her focus was making certain that there is inclusion. When you're talking about parcels within my district, make certain that you include me on that, and that's one thing that this developability tool will show. And then Commissioner Davis for for District 4 the ability to showcase to us just some of the sketches that have been done for parcels within this community. I think Commissioner Allen, you did the same as well. You know, but that helped us get through this process quicker because we understand what each of you are looking for. And the goal is we began to really socialize those ideas at this roundtable, you know, so that now you have a concrete master plan without all of the jargon, and it's something that surpasses staff leaving. It's something that somebody can be held accountable for. So yes, ma'am, we'll get that to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
And yes, I think just like you, SWOT analysis, easy. And so we do have a very detailed SWOT analysis from all of the interviews that we've done and from all of the information that we gathered. So that is one of the centerpieces for that strategic direction setting opportunity that we're looking to schedule with you so that we can walk you through what's working, what's not been working. Then we can walk you through the developability tool and how it can be used. You guys already have a wonderful tool on your website. This will be able to enhance it. And so to actually help you identify what opportunity sites rise to the top. And those are the ones we go after as a high priority and then prioritize other sites subsequently. The other piece that's really exciting is we've now got an idea of how your processes are working to support business development. So we're going to share some of that with you as well so that we can identify which ones, again, do we go after? We can't do everything at the same time. We'd love to, but that's not possible. So we're going to be able to prioritize, okay, these initiatives will give us the biggest bang for our buck. And those are the ones we're going to go. And so with all of that information, that's that strategic action framework that we can say, these are our primary initiatives that we're going to go after. And here's who's responsible for them. And here are the timelines so that all of us understand what the script is and we can all be held responsible and accountable for making sure that it happens. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes. I have a question too.
Sure.
You talked about business retention. Is that correct?
Yes.
How do we get businesses to stay? That's the main thing. We're getting ready to lose a big business in District 3, Eden Fresh Market. And if it was anything that, you know, we have, I know we have here tonight our Chamber of Commerce president, Ms. Valencia Williamson. And so as we talk about retaining those businesses in the community, you know, how do we get to that point and how do we get those businesses to stay? And what are some of the things that, have you all even looked at the data to see why businesses like that would want to leave the county as well?
That's all a part of the process, Madam Chair.
Okay.
And that's a very, very good point because we're not just looking at a big part of keeping businesses is how we service them.
Mm-hmm.
So that part has been, we've been looking at that and we've got some ideas on how to improve some services. Okay. The other thing is how can we incentivize them to stay, right? So those are pieces that we're looking at. And all of this gets pulled together when we have those developer roundtables to talk to them about their experience and then demonstrate to them how the county and its services are changing to accommodate them better. So that's all a part of developing that playbook so that they understand what the goals are, what the problems may or may not have been, but how we're fixing them, how we're moving forward with them, and what potential incentives might interest them to come and to stay.
Gotcha.
Okay?
And the BRE visits, Jeremy.
Yes.
The BRE visits for.
You can come up, Mr.
So-
Do you want to speak on the BRE visits, Mr. Clark?
Or Clemente, whichever.
So the other part, in addition to that, are the business retention and expansion visits. And so as part of the leadership cohort, we're taking the actual economic development team with us on these tours. Because in addition to everything Janity said, you can have a business that's struggling and you not know it because there has been no contact. And that's when you see those businesses leave because there's just generally been no contact. So the BRE visits seek to fix a lot of that. And I think we've identified, do you remember how many it was on the list? maybe it was 60, something, 50 or 60 businesses. And the other plan was expanding it to when we schedule these BRE visits with staff, letting or allowing or extending an invitation through the district commissioners to come on some of those tours, because you'll hear firsthand what the concerns are, as well as it'll be a leave behind, and they'll have just more visibility.
And thank you for clarifying.
Yes, ma'am. I know I'm over my time.
Thank you. All right.
Oh, no, I still had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It was for Miss Janity.
Oh, okay, good.
Not good.
He said as long as it's not
You don't
me.
answer my questions, Ricky? Sorry, excuse me, Mr. Clark. Ms. Janity, thank you so much. And Mr. Mitchell, thank y'all for this presentation. Y'all know I thoroughly enjoyed the meeting that we had. And Commissioner Allen, I was over here nerding out. I'm having a great time. I would love a copy of the maps, the District 1 maps, to see the nodes that y'all have identified.
I thought we had left that with you, but if we didn't.
Oh, no.
We have maps for each of the districts as well as countywide.
But you have updated maps. Have updated maps?
Yes.
Okay. I just had just a few, I don't know if it's recommendations or suggestions, but around this is incredible mapping that you all had, and I was just curious if we can add to the scoring. I see that we have like distance to interstates and major corridors. We've had Marta, who was here a few weeks ago, so is there any possibility that to add proximity to transit, whether it's the bus stop or the bus rapid transit, so that could help identify those scores?
Yes.
So that we can increase our density?
Yes.
And I know y'all have heard me talk about land assemblage, so I just don't know if there's any opportunities to talk about that as far as like county-owned parcels.
Those are all county-owned parcels that have been identified.
Okay. But
So
I want to make sure that we're also discussing if it's multiple county parcels that are not like calculated together, how can we, we talk a lot about building big projects, and so I just
Yeah.
want to make sure that we're allowing the space
Yeah.
for that.
And I think the tool will help a lot in,
Okay.
in being able to do that, because if you look at it, there are some that are very close together that could be assembled, but then there are others that have issues. So, and that doesn't preclude it from some kind of development. There are areas where you can't build anything on it, but it might be a really nice open space next to some kind of development. You know what I'm saying? So all of that kind of thinking, this tool allows us to do. And as we think through it, as I said, identify those opportunity sites that rise to the top and make sense. And then actually being able to have the capability to say, hey, developers, here are the top 10, top 20 opportunity sites that we've got for the next 6 months or the next year or whatever. And then we start to work actively with those developers to garner their interest, talk about incentives, talk about financing packages, all of that stuff.
Okay, perfect.
Does that
And you
make
answered-
sense?
Yes, and you also answered my next question, which was once you use the software to identify the areas, what's the role in PON to help with the lead generation and bringing in those businesses? You answered
that
you
is
answered that question.
Clemente's job.
Okay. This sounds fantastic.
Wonderful.
Oh, I don't have any more questions.
Thanks, though.
Got one. You're speaking a lot of the BPIs. Are these BPIs geared towards what? The vision, the planning, retention, more permitting process? What are they geared towards, or what are they geared not towards, as far as developing it and assessing them?
I'm not quite sure I understand your question, but
On your business process improvements?
Yes.
And you're talking about how you're trying to go ahead and begin to research them. I'm just trying to get what facet of it within the business line is it geared towards? Is it towards the vision? Is it towards business permitting? I think someone's raising their hand back
Well,
here, one of your.
I was going to say, it's really all of the above, because what we've done is we've looked at the processes that you have in place, and we've identified where there are impediments, where there could be additional information or there's a lack of information. So it will help in terms of looking at the process and ensuring that the process is accomplishing what it is intended to accomplish without duplication, without with effective use of resources. If there's a faster and better way to do it, we're making recommendations to help you do it faster and do it better. So this what do we call it? The modernization roadmap has looked at all of your processes, alcohol licenses, entitlements, your permit issuance, all of those things, and identified where there are gaps in information, where it could be done better, and we are actually making recommendations to say this is a way that we can implement to improve that service. And that is the beauty of how we're going to conduct the leadership cohort, because we're making the recommendations, but we're actually going to actively work with staff to implement them, so that at the end of the day, we've got that foundation that we keep talking about to attract and retain businesses.
Also, on the, I can't remember which slide it was, where you're talking about parcel usage. Is this the complete scoring matrix to begin to determine parcel usage and valuations?
It's going to be an ever-evolving tool.
Okay.
So just as Commissioner Reeves indicated, we're already looking at how we can incorporate transit
County-owned plans.
and how we can incorporate development along major corridors to say, oh, this development has teeth, and it's near these parcels. So maybe we need to think about how we work these parcels. So it's going to be an ever-evolving, which is why it's really exciting, because it's not static or stagnant. You're going to be able to manipulate, your staff are going to be able to manipulate this information in a way where it's always fresh and it's always looking at what's actually happening so that you can respond to it.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Any more questions at this time or comments? All right. Seeing none, thank you all for coming out.
Appreciate you. Thank you
you.
so
We
much, and we
appreciate you
look
as
forward
well.
to seeing you later this month.
All right, thank you. Next will be item 3, Clayton County Connected Professional Development Program, Human Resources Director, Ms. Pam Ambles.
Good evening, Clayton County Board of Commissioners, and good evening to our citizens. I'm Pam Ambles, citizen of District 3 and the Human Resources Director for Clayton County. My vision for Clayton County from a human resources perspective is for Clayton County to be known as one of the best places in the world to work. About 3 months ago, I told the Board of Commissioners that we would do an introduction to our Clayton-Connected Professional Development Program. That's an internal gym that we have. But tonight, well, this evening, I'm going to do something I rarely do. I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to turn it over to Ryan Shaw, Human Resources Officer.
Good evening to the,
Wait a minute, Mr. Shaw. Swan, can you please shut those doors because there's too much talking in the background.
Y'all have to put like a sign there that shows people not to sit. It's okay. It's okay. Memo is already.
Thank you. You can proceed. Mhm.
Well, good evening, Board of Commissioners. My name is Ryan Shaw. I am the Human Resources Officer for the Clayton County Human Resources Department, and it is an honor and a privilege to present to you something that I've invested the past 8 years of my life in, an investment worthwhile, investing in our workforce, our professional development program. Today we'll be discussing why professional development even matters. Why is that important? I'm going to give you an overview of our program and the learning paths. I'm going to speak to you about the most recent participation results, the benefits of our professional development program. I'm We're going to talk about the benefits of board support as well as Clayton County Human Resources' future goals as it pertains to professional development for our employees. Now, why does professional development even matter? Why do we have these classes? Well, it's very important for us to have a staff that are developed and skilled and engaged employees. We want employees who know the rules and regulations. We want employees to be engaged, and engaged fosters retention. We also want to strengthen our leadership capacity. A lot of people know how to speak boldly, but do they know how to lead within the rules and regulations and the parameters of the law? We want to improve customer service with our internal and our external customers. Now, internal customers, our coworkers, we interact with them most of the day, whereas our external customers, they come and go. Both relationships are important, and it's very important for us to foster those relationships. We want to reduce organizational risk. By knowing the rules and regulations, by knowing the laws that pertain to our employment, we can better comply with those rules and regulations, which could reduce lawsuits that we actually lose. And we want to support succession planning. Leadership. Leaders who know how to lead, leaders who go into a leadership role with the skills and the tools that they need to be successful in their new executive level positions. Our program is available to both part-time and full-time employees, and they generally are conducted during the work days of Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Classes are scheduled quarterly. However, any department head can request a class for his or her employees at any time. So although we release the schedule every quarter, if a class is not on that schedule, it's not out of the realm of possibility for them to contact me and we can schedule a special session. We have two different tracks, or a few different tracks. We have our employee level track, which consists of 16 courses. We have a management basic skills track, which consists of 9 specific courses. And if somebody takes all 20 managerial classes, they will be awarded our management professional development track. We also have mandatory courses for our employees. On the employee level courses, we have classes such as quality customer service, telephone etiquette, effective communication, teamwork, and a host of others as you see. These classes are meant to foster employee relations and compliance. And in these classes, such as effective communication, we talk about the difference between assertive versus aggressive communication. We examine where the line is drawn, and we have these real conversations. We examine where the line is drawn between being quote-unquote real and being quote-unquote rude. We talk about respecting differences within the workplace and the importance of how trust is important with teamwork and team building, and how it may take a lot of time to build trust, but just like this, in the snap of a finger, one incident can ruin trust. The management development curriculum, we teach from the perspective of our leaders. We want to ensure compliance with the rules and regulations, rules such as, and laws such as Family Medical Leave Act, workers' compensation, and various policies such as our sexual harassment prevention policy. We examine concepts of leadership. We examine what our leaders want their legacies to be, because one way or another, our leaders will leave behind a legacy. We ask questions and we have very in-depth conversations, questions such as, is it better as a leader to be feared or loved? And we get very, very, very insightful conversation about that. We stress the importance of documentation. Some people say if it's not written down, it didn't happen. But we also draw light to the importance of the Open Records Act and to know how to document and how to document properly. Our mandatory classes consist of new employee orientation, which we conduct on a monthly basis. As a matter of fact, tomorrow at the South Clayton Recreation Center, we will be conducting new employee orientation from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We have our monthly HIPAA class for our HIPAA-sensitive positions, those who will be exposed to medical or health records or might be exposed. And we also have quarterly mandatory principles of effective leadership. That is a 2-part class. It is an all-day class, and all new leaders need to come to this class. We have that class every quarter. Our participation results, I'm very happy about this. Between the months of January and June 2026, we conducted 41 classes. We had 670 participants, and if we include those people who turned in their essential policies package, it's well over 2,000. During this time frame, 4 people graduated from the management professional development curriculum. We had 1 manager basic skills graduate and 1 employee professional development. And I have been told that we have more coming in this next quarter. The benefits to Clayton County: improved customer service, both internal and external. We have higher employee engagement. By building a commitment to the company, our training fosters growth, which shows employees that they can grow here, which makes people want to stay here with our agency. Better decision making. I was told if you know better, you can do better. Knowing the rules, knowing the procedures, knowing how to discipline, knowing how to engage and maintain documentation. There was a meeting that I had with some leaders, and they stated they were hesitant to discipline because they did not have time, or they were not able, or they did not know how to maintain documentation. Now that is a problem. There's a quote that says, the fastest way to get rid of a positive employee is to allow them to see you tolerate a negative one. So we need our managers to understand and know how to engage in disciplinary actions, rules and regulations, the policies and procedures within our civil service rules, reduce legal risk. Now in my training, I always tell people, never be afraid to do your jobs, but do your jobs within the rules and regulations. Now how can you do that if you don't even know them? Today we had a workers' compensation class, and it amazed me. I asked the question, how many people here know about the salary paid in lieu of workers' comp? We had about 19 people in that class. I think about 3 people raised their hands. So that got me to thinking, what else do they not know? Our leaders, people who are in the legal arena within Clayton County, who make decisions, who say things that we could be held accountable for. It's very important that people come to this class. Leadership pipeline. We need our leaders to understand their role. We need them to be present and to care about their employees, their employee success. And please understand that their role as leaders is not just a paycheck. It's not just an abuse of their exempt status. It's being present and wanting their employees to be successful as well. Now, how can you good people, the good commissioners of Clayton County, help? We would like to encourage you to champion continuous learning. Now, currently our graduates are recognized in front of the Civil Service Board, but we would love for them to be recognized here with the Clayton County Board of Commissioners. Support funding of various tools that we can use to expand our professional development program, taking it even further into the 21st century, and to encourage participation. I'm very proud of this program. I've seen people graduate. I've heard people come back to me and tell me how beneficial it has been to them in their careers. And I would like to see more, which goes into our future goals. We want to increase participation. Now, if you've seen our participation from January to June 2026, I think we can do more. I think we can up those numbers. We want to expand leadership development. We want to measure how our professional development program actually has an organizational impact here with the Clayton County Board of Commissioners. And we want to enhance succession planning. For those going into our executive level positions, we want to make certain that they have all the tools needed to be successful. Not just the presence, not just the gift of gab, but knowing the rules and regulations and ensuring that their departments are compliant with these rules and regulations. And our future goals, let me speak this into existence. We will be launching our e-learning platform. That is going to happen. Currently, our classes are conducted during the quote-unquote workday of 8 a.m. through 5 p.m., but as we know, we have employees who work 24/7. We want them to have access to this information as well. Their supervisors as well. Their employees as well. They deserve to have this access as well, and that's something that we will be implementing. At this time, I will give the floor to my leadership, Director Ambles, to talk about our expansion within human resources. As stated before, we want to measure the impact of our organizational operations. I attend a lot of the civil service meetings, and I look at most of them. And I'm very happy to say that a lot of times when I look at the civil service meetings, the people who are involved, I have not seen them in the professional development program. We want to look at the 4 levels of this: reaction, learning, behavior, and results. This takes time, this takes more people. And we want to engage in more reporting so that we can provide you all, the citizens, and our Clayton County employees with more reporting and more results as to how our training, our professional development program has an impact on them, has an impact on the workplace. Professional development is essential to the success of any workplace, to its growth. If an agency is not growing, it is dying, and I refuse to see Clayton County in that predicament. I would definitely encourage you to support our professional development program in any way that you can. Through your voices matter. I see a lot of emails come through. You have great advertisements. If we can include professional development in that, I think we could get even more participation. We can get even more compliance, and we can make Clayton County even greater than what it is. At this time, if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to attend to them.
All right, board members, do y'all have any questions on professional development?
Not a question, but a statement. So before I came commissioner, I was employed with the county, and I took several classes with Ms. Ambles, and our classes are great. So coming in, learning about the classes, and saw that Mr. Ryan Shaw was over the classes, I also asked Ms. Yolanda. Well, I actually made it mandatory. I didn't ask her. I told her, volunteered her to get in and start taking the classes. So this is me advocating for the program, and Mr. COO, hoping that you could join me in getting some of the directors and some of the other elected officials on board to start taking classes. Maybe we can make them mandatory, more mandatory, and offer some type of incentive. All right, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, no,
Any
that's
questions or
just
comments, Commissioner Hambrick?
Mr. Shaw, I would like to thank you for this report. I really enjoyed it, and it was very informative.
Thank you.
So if all of our employees could at least get some of this, and also thank you so much for a very good report.
Thank you very much.
Oh, don't leave yet.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
You have more kudos coming your way. I have expressed this to Director Ambles because I had the opportunity to sit through a few of your trainings when you did, I think it was the library that was having their trainings. And I mean, I think the same day, Director Ambles, I was texting you and I said, you know, what a gem we have in Mr. Ryan Shaw. So I just wanted to let you know that I've already passed your kudos along to your boss. And from, I know we were hearing about cost savings tonight, but having worked in, you know, the corporate world, and I know how much professional development classes can cost, and the fact that you do those in-house, how much cost savings that is providing to the county. And we may not be able to see that number directly, but that impact is felt as far as the professional development that you provide to our Clayton County employees who then serve our Clayton County community. So thank you for your work in just I mean, eight years.
8 years.
That's dedication to the county. So thank you, and I look forward to us assisting you in making sure that we have more of our county employees participating in this.
It's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do. Next is item 4, Home Anchor, Clayton Housing Resource Initiative. Ms. Damaris Garrett. I was about to call you your other name too, the hyphenated part. And these guys are from what, Leadership Clayton?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you for having us. Again, I'm Damaris Garrett. I am a proud employee of the Clayton County Public School System, and I'm going to allow my Leadership Clayton teammates to speak. And first, I do want to first say thank you to you, Board of Commissioners. Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, for allowing us to come before you. And we hope that what we present this evening, you will find helpful to the community.
All right. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and Board of Commissioners, and everyone in attendance today. My name is Savon Irons Kumasa, and I am the Interim Planning Director for the City of Forest Park. And I'm here this evening with my fellow members of Leadership Clayton Group 3, Class of Group 3 for 2026. And thank you for giving us this opportunity to introduce our community project, Home Anchor. As we began developing our project, one thing became very clear to us. When we talk about housing, we're talking about more than just where someone lives. Housing is directly connected to stability, health, employment, family wealth, well-being, and ultimately the strength of our community. We also recognize that Clayton County already has resources and organizations available that's already doing the important work and has the space to do so. The challenge is that residents may not always know where resources are available, where to find them, or how to navigate them. And that's where the idea of Home Anchor began. Our goal isn't to reinvent the wheel, it's to help create a clearer, more accessible connection between Clayton County residents and the housing resources and support systems that already exist. But we also know that for someone and some things like this have to have meaningful, lasting impacts. Partnership is critical. So tonight, we're not simply here to present our Leadership Clayton project, we're here to begin a conversation about how Clayton County will and can, hopefully, well, how Clayton County can potentially partner with us to help Home Anchor reach the resources and sustainability beyond our Leadership Clayton class. With that, I'm going to turn it over to my fellow group members who will walk you through the vision of Home Anchor and how it works and the impact we hope to achieve and how the opportunities that are available and how we can potentially see partnership. Thank you again for the opportunity of being here, and we can go ahead and get started with our presentation.
All right.
While we are pulling it up, what we do want to start with is the purpose of an anchor. So the purpose of an anchor is to actually, thank you, to stabilize a ship during rough waters. It doesn't stop the wind, it doesn't stop the water, it doesn't stop the storm. What it does is it creates a situation where that boat or that ship is able to withstand that storm. Housing insecurity is similar. Most individuals don't drift into just a storm where they just absolutely can't afford it. It usually happens because of medical, emergency situations, job loss, transportation issues, something that occurs. So in those instances, what we know, as Savon just said, is that what our residents need is they absolutely need something to help them anchor during that storm. And that is what Home Anchor is, and we hope you agree. This is just a brief picture of our team, and so we have a vast team. Some of them are not here, they are actually at other events, but we want to go into quickly some statistics for you. The situation is dire. Between 2019 and 2023, Clayton had the highest eviction rates in Metro Atlanta, with the highest number occurring in 2023, a total of 19,913, almost 20,000 evictions, equaling 39 evictions per 100, or 40% of our households. In 2024, the rough estimate of unhoused individuals in our county was 110. 70, as you can see, in emergency shelters, 30 being totally unsheltered, and 10 in transitional housing. In 2025, over 2,000 of our students were defined as homeless under the McKinney-Vento Act, representing an astounding number of families, and that number has increased. Based on the 2026 data, 62% of the renters in our county spend more than 30% of their income on rent and utilities, and that is considered cost burden. Commissioners, that's the highest rate in the Metro Atlanta area. I also have a couple of other statistics that I want to share with you briefly before I turn it over to another colleague. Housing affordability is the biggest problem facing the Metro Atlanta area, with 28% of the respondents to the Atlanta Regional Commission survey citing this as their top concern. 11 county region, this 11 county region, and Clayton County is a part, lost over 230,000 affordable rental units, which means they were priced at $1,500 or less between 2018 and 2023. And last, our esteemed chairwoman, Dr. Anderson Henry, is a member of the 2025 HLA, and that's Housing Leadership Affordability cohort, to study barriers to housing production and identify policy changes towards influencing affordable housing in their county. We do believe that this project supports that. What is Home Anchor? We're going to have Savon come and give you the details.
All right. Yeah, so what is Home Anchor? Home Anchor is a consolidated directory aimed to bridge the housing resource gap in Clayton County. Home Anchor stands in the gap as a one-stop resource ecosystem offering a path to housing sustainability and loss mitigation. I do want to take us back to, I think we were attending the State of the County, and Chairwoman, you made a statement about how the focus this year would be on housing and allocating resources for housing. We built our project surrounding that because that is one of the major issues within the county. So with Home Anchor, we will be a navigator, a centralizer, and a connector. And then what Home Anchor isn't, to maintain a clear and manageable scope and ensure we do not duplicate existing efforts, Home Anchor will not provide direct rental assistance. It will not serve as a housing provider. It will not replace housing programs, and it will not provide long-term case management. So when we are thinking about the project in full, our goal with Home Anchor is to simply have access and create a clear connection between the residents and the resources already available to them. So by providing this centralized, easy to understand information and increasing awareness, we want residents to feel more confident navigating housing options and support systems. And ultimately, the impact we're aiming for is stronger, more stable households, which contributes to healthier and more resilient Clayton County is a total. We want to keep people in place. We don't want them to get to the point where they're homeless or, so this project provides resources to keep them in place.
Good afternoon. My name is Omari Jones. I currently serve as the Deputy Administrator for the Senior Services Department. And also just a quick pivot, I'm a proud graduate of the Human Resources Professional Development Program. So shout out to my guy, Ryan Shaw. But to get into it, as far as just Home Anchor in action, now that we have shared what Home Anchor is and outlined what it is not, I want to focus on the impact and why this type of centralized housing resource matters for our residents and our community. When a resident is dealing with housing instability, whether it is the threat of eviction, displacement concerns, utility challenges, or uncertainty about what help may be available, it can be difficult to know the first step to take. That is where Home Anchor can serve an important role. It is designed to bring Clayton County housing-related resources and information into one trusted space, so residents are not forced to search through multiple websites, agencies, phone numbers, and programs while already facing a stressful situation. The impact is centered on access and understanding. By centralizing the information, Home Anchor can help residents make sense of their situation, find resources that may apply to their needs, and move towards the right support with confidence. For our Clayton County residents, this matters because housing stability reaches beyond one individual or one household. It affects families, schools, employment, and the overall strength of our community. Home Anchor helps simplify the path to existing support, giving residents a clear way forward from uncertainty to understanding and from crisis to connection.
Good evening, board members. My name is Maya Gaddison. I'm the owner of Zane Candle Company. We have a brick and mortar in Forest Park, Georgia, where we host workshops for a creative candle making experience. And I'm also a part of the Clayton County Chamber of Commerce. So with Project in Group 3, I helped develop the website. So one of our features does include a AI situational tool. So the purpose of the AI situational tools provide prompts. So these prompts will identify if they're homeowners, renters, living with family, or just homeless. So it would immediately assess the resident unique housing needs and accurately calculate their situational risk level. The benefits to Clayton County residents: it eliminates confusion to finding the help they need by instantly connecting the users with hyper-local resources, locally emergency utility, rebates, community housing, stability partners, and local assistance based on the prompts they provided. So zip codes, it will provide the nearest city on what their help and assistance may need. And also features with our website, for user experience, it's designed for high stress situations. So when they're in those predicament and crisis, it is high stress. So we create a website where it's simplified and mobile friendly, and it directs the residents without making them dig for complex searches to find those resources. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, board. Thank you all again for this opportunity to present. As we reach the end of our presentation, we want to highlight the measures of success, so how we are going to measure the impact. So through the, as my colleague shared, our AI situational tool, that will also be a way to collect data on what are the pretty much who are the community residents that are seeking housing, what are the stressors or the causes of them seeking housing, and then we're hoping to collect this data and be able to share it with partners. So this will also be a benefit to partners to be able to, again, look at that data and see where, as a county, we need to shift resources or increase resources in certain areas. As we near the end of our time with Leadership Clayton, we really want to walk you guys through where we're at in this project, in this process. So we have already built out a beta website, so we're really excited to present that and share that with the community on August 29th is when we're going to have a launch party. We hope you all can attend. We extend the invitation to you. You guys will get a formal invitation, but that will be where we demo the website and the tool, and really share with community how the tool can be utilized and shared with those who are in need of it. We're also working right now to build out our marketing tool, our marketing plan, to be able to reach members of the community who actually would benefit from this tool. And then before we close out, again, we're really seeking your support and your partnership to build this and to really make it come to life, but also what's really critical so that it's sustained, right? And a key part of that sustainability is seeking a partner who would be willing to host this tool on this website. So this evening we come to you and we ask you all to consider potentially hosting this tool on the Clayton County website, especially given that it is a tool that's serving the entire county. And naturally, as the Board of Commissions serving the entire county, we hope you guys would consider becoming a partner and hosting this tool on your website, and we can definitely talk more offline around what that would involve and what that would entail. And we also are seeking sponsorship opportunities as well to really offset the cost of building the website. We're also looking to have costs that go towards sustaining the website for at least 3 years. So any costs that go towards that, we're looking to raise those funds right now as well. I'll pass it off to my colleagues to close this out.
And that's it. We again want to thank you all. We do want to say we forgot to acknowledge that we have presented in front of the municipalities within the county. We have one that we're working on getting in front of, but we have actually had this conversation around the county as we recognize this is certainly a county-wide initiative, but it impacts the entire county. And so we want to thank you again for allowing us to come before you all. And we will answer any questions you may have.
All right. Thank you for that awesome presentation. Board members, are there any questions at this time?
Yes.
Commissioner Hamburg?
It's more of just being inquisitive. What counties do you all live in?
Clayton.
I work in Clayton County, but I live in the triangle of Clayton, where Clayton, DeKalb, and Henry meet. So I'm in Ellenwood area. Yes.
Yes.
Clayton County. I live in DeKalb County, but I work across the metro region, and Clayton is one of the areas.
And I live in South Fulton, but I started in Clayton and then I got married and he swooped me up and we built it. So blame him.
But you work in Clayton.
But I work in Clayton. I've worked in Clayton since 2009, so I came back home and this is where my heart is. And I just
I was just sitting here thinking.
I see one of our board members and he said, Ms. Williams, Valencia Williams is here. And so I see faces, I waved, and I do want to thank, I actually hounded Mr. Stanford and Dr. Anderson Henry to allow us to come. And so I do have friends, but Clayton County is my heart.
Thank you. I was just inquiring. Thank you.
Okay, so
I do have
when is?
one question.
All right. Commissioner Davis?
How are you collecting and cataloging your commercial and partner information?
Yeah, so I can answer that question. So we've been meeting with different community organizations to learn about their services. So for example, we met with Clayton County Community Services Authority. We also attended the Housing Summit, I believe it was in June, where we got a chance to speak with a lot of the vendors that were there that were providing housing resources. And so we've gathered resources through that. And then also just searching on the web as well.
And they're allowing you to put forth their information on a secondary website?
Yes, we have spoken with them and are getting their permission, yes.
Commissioner Allen?
But that was half my question, but when is your class over?
Graduation is in October.
Okay.
October 1st.
Okay, thank you. So because this is a wonderful project, so would the next cohort pick up, for example, if one of the commissioners would like to add a resource, or who will be the contact person basically after you guys graduate class?
So we will have a centralized contact person, but the initiative of this project is how well we can sustain it even after graduation. So this is not just a project we want to present to you all just to graduate, but this is something, a useful resource that will be available long before, long after we graduate Leadership Clayton. And that's one of the reasons why we're seeking resource and partnerships, so that this tool can be housed on county platform or other municipal platforms. We have had some agreement on some partnerships with other municipalities throughout Clayton County, but we just want to also extend to see what opportunities could become available throughout the county based off our presenting today. So we do have a plan for how it will live on after we graduate, and that's one of the items that Maylene mentioned on how we can sustain it far beyond. So some of the resources and funding that is being provided for us or to us in partnership of our project will live on to assist with the maintenance of the website far beyond once we graduate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Reeves?
Hi, Savon. I know
You remember my name
I
this time?
finally got your name right. You're doing Forest Park. Very proud. Sorry, I've already texted Rochelle bragging about you and your presentation. And Omar, Clayton County and Forest Park. Okay. But this was a fantastic presentation. The website, I mean, the thoughtfulness, and I think you said it. I think, Maya, you said the website is able to be navigated during high stress moments. And that is exactly how a tool needs to be when you have individuals who are potentially facing homelessness or eviction or just in need of service. And so it is so clear the thoughtfulness that you all put behind this project. So I was texting somebody with the library because I was just like, wait a minute, don't we have kiosks at the library? And David was helping me look for Matthew, because when we talk about hosting, I mean, if that is something that the county could allow to be able to have a portal. You said it's available on desktop, mobile, but the county has kiosks at the library for individuals. I think it's run by DHS, but it sounds like there could be opportunities. I'm not sure if that's a board decision or an administrative. It's a board decision, okay. But discussing what that would look like, because I know I've gotten calls and other commissioners have gotten calls from individuals who are in need of services, and to be able to direct them to something that is Clayton specific, where they can get the resources that they need in one stop is just incredibly helpful. And the statistics, I'm a data nerd. So as soon as y'all said that y'all are going to be collecting where are the highest needs based on zip codes, that is helpful when we talk about the economic development and, where is the need? So, where do we need to build more housing? All of that ties into each other. And I want to say last month, Pad Split came and did no, they didn't do a presentation. They met with the commissioners to talk about kind of like filling in that gap. Because if people are spending over 30%. How much was it? It was
Over 30%.
But how many people in Clayton County are spending?
Over 60. Very high number. It's the highest number, and I'm sorry for talking for me. It's the highest number. It is the highest number in the metro Atlanta area. And when I did look at the Atlanta Regional Commission's website, what the average typical number is about 30%. And so again, as Savon said, that we really, really felt that we wanted to talk about that. This was near and dear to our heart for the county because we feel like we are actually being impacted. And I'm sure Dr. Anderson Henry knows that as she sits on that HLA with the Atlanta Regional Commission, we're being heavily impacted. Our county is being heavily impacted with the housing affordability issue.
And the need is now. It takes a while to build houses, and also the county has a moratorium on housing right now. But yeah, it's fine. This was an incredible presentation and just incredibly helpful information, and you all have my support. I'm saying that publicly. I'm letting you all know.
Thank you. And I do want to just add one more thing. What we also realized through our research is not everyone that is going through situations with their home is jobless. Right. Most people are families. They have jobs, have degrees, but things happen. And this navigational situational tool will help that issue, because now I don't have to type into Google or go to all these different places to figure out what I can do for my own situation. I can put what I'm going through into this situation tool, and it'll build the resources for me, and it'll send it to me. So this is another positive about what we're presenting today, and I know we all have faith in what this will do for the county. And we want you all to have the faith in it as well.
And I want to say also, great job. Hearts to Nourish Hope has gotten a grant through DCA, and last week, Ms. Deb Anglin, she worked on housing 24 families. They were out at Camp Calvin, and I got a chance to go out there and meet them and donate some things to those families, and that grant came real fast. And so, again, there are opportunities through DCA as grant money's coming in. There is a website that has been developed for our nonprofits in the county as well, where they are collaborating. So instead of everyone, duplicating the same services, now our residents are able to go on that website, and they've gotten it together. They finally, they've been meeting, and so they've finally gotten everything together. So I'll also give you all access and a copy of the URL for that website, so you can see how you can navigate through that website, and maybe we could add your program on there as well. Our COO has been working with us, and like I said, we are looking at economic mobility because we've got to get people working. We've got to get people educated. We've got to do all of that. We can build all the housing in the world, but if the people don't have the skill set to live in there, don't have the income to stay in there, it doesn't matter. So that's one thing we have to do as a county, focus on that economic mobility and focus on making sure that our adults as well as our children and everyone do it from a holistic approach and make sure that everyone is, has the ability to live, work, eat, and go to school and pray and everything else in Clayton County. So that's where we're going, and that's where we need to go, and that's what we need to do. So thank you so much for what you all are doing, and we appreciate you. Let's give them a round of applause tonight. Thank you. Did y'all have anything else? Are y'all good?
No, last thing I'll say,
okay.
We would love the opportunity to follow up and meet with you all, just to discuss a little bit more offline around partnership opportunities. So,
all right.
Yes, and we'll send you the invite for the August 29th event.
August 29th,
yes.
I was going to say about that event.
Who would be the best person to get that?
You
to
can
follow
send
up
it.
with?
Well, you can. Each of us have our own constituent or our own email, so you can just send it to all of our emails.
Awesome. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
And it will be at Morrill High School in Clayton.
Also, we have some elected officials in the House. We have Dr. D. Haney standing in the back. Stand, Dr. D. Haney. She's so shy. Is our chamber president, Valencia Williamson, has she left yet?
No, she's in the
okay,
back.
she's in the back as well. All right, please stand. Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you so much. Next, we will move on to the Clayton County Board appointments. Our COO, Dietrich Stanford, will present. And, I'm sorry, Dr. Charles Reed will present.
Good evening. It's going to be both of us, but I'll start off. I know you all have been here for a while, and I'm going to send you what we're going to talk about by email. Okay. So this is really more high level, just for things you to think about as you decide on what you would like the board appointment process to be. So again, summary is we're going to discuss the proposed process, some next steps, and then some questions. Why the change? Currently, we don't. Thank you. Our appointment process is not spelled out, and so there are some things that we want you to think through. What we're inviting you to think through, like when should the board be made aware of upcoming vacancies? What role should the public play in volunteering to serve on a board or authority? How and when should the board evaluate nominees? And what's the process for determining qualifications to serve? And we've had some discussions with several of you about these issues over several months. And so by implementing a formal nomination process, not only can the nominating commissioner know who they want to appoint, but you all can also have a understanding of what that person's qualifications are when you vote on that. And then on the other hand, or in addition, I should say, the people who are appointed, they can better fit with that board or authority. So then you have less questions about, well, what does this board or authority do when you appoint them? And then you have more alignment between their experience and the board and authority's duties, ideally. So some of the questions: what is the board's desire? When do you want to be made aware of vacancies? Like what date? How far in advance? What should the board or the clerk do as far as letting you know about sending notice? Is it only to the district commissioner for commissioner appointed positions, or do you want, or all of you want to know when there is a vacancy? Again, whatever date you select should, I think, allow the board to have enough time to be aware of the vacancies without necessarily feeling rushed to evaluate potential candidates. Again, another question: what role should the public play in volunteering to serve? Do you want these vacancies posted on the county website? Do you want them sent out via social media or other communications forms? Should the application, or if you want an application process, should that be solely online, or do you want like a paper availability? Again, on what role should the public play? I have in some of these, in the presentation I'm going to send to you online, links to other counties who have a nomination process. So the summary of that CAWITA, they have an all-in-one application form. You fill everything out online, and then it routes it through to the board to decide on how to move forward with that application. Brunswick, on the other hand, they have a resume submission, so they have some things that you fill out online first, and then you submit or attach a resume that then goes to the board. Upson County, they have an all-in-one, so they fill out everything that has to do with the upcoming board vacancy, and then they do an e-signature at the end to basically go through that whole process. And then Gwinnett County, you have to actually submit it to the specific commissioner. So it's a drop-down form. So, for example, if Commissioner Reeves was making an appointment for a particular board, none of you all would see that. It would only go to her. That's just for the specific district. Some things for you to think about how you want to do it. Another question: how should the board evaluate nominees? Is there a cutoff date? Do you want to have it 30 days before the person is, or when the term ends 14 days or you want to later another time. Again, should applications be sent to all the BOC members or only to the nominating commissioner? And for full board appointments, do you want everything to be sent to BOC members? Once you all go through that, and again, these are just questions for you to think it through, and you'll have all this in the email that I send you. How do you want to codify it? Do you want to do it through a resolution? Do you want to amend your standing procedure rules to basically talk through that process? And then depending on how you want to do it, we'll either draft a resolution or we'll put together something in your standing rules for you all to vote on. And then I guess I took all the time, but I now turn it over to CO Stanford. You know, basically once we go through this, how long would it take roughly to put this process in place?
Well, good evening, board. I did everything the chief staff attorney said. There's nothing else really to add. The one thing I do think we do need to add, there is, we've talked about doing a board and authorities retreat. And the idea is that right now the tentative date for that will be October 23rd. It's a Saturday. We'll do a half a day or a whole day depending upon what the agenda will tell us. We're going to work with the chief staff attorney's office as well as our clerk and other individuals that will play an integral role in ensuring that we elevate the need of the board. As you all know, one of the things we talk specifically about is that not only quality of life from our boards and authorities, but there are a lot of statutory responsibilities that come in space. And sometimes it's difficult as a board for you all to really have a true understanding because the members that might be appointed really don't understand our roles and responsibilities. So as Chief Staff Attorney talked specifically about questions that we're asking, one of the main things we want to do, we want to make sure that we're prepared for that retreat on October 23rd. So whatever decisions we make, we want to ensure that we have all that codified by that point in time. So once we sit down with those board members, whether it's just the executive committee or the whole board itself, we want to make sure that we provide them packets, we provide them the requisite training that's needed to ensure that if this board sees value in a nominating process for committee members, then certainly we have that quantified and qualified by that date.
Mr. Stanford, before
yes,
you all set a date, you might want to consider a college football schedule.
Yes, ma'am. We made sure that Georgia was going to be away that
week. Well, make sure the Fort Valley's homecoming is not that weekend.
University of Georgia, are they playing that day, sir?
Yes, ma'am, but it's an away game.
Okay.
It's not a. Okay. But I think Commissioner Hambrick talked about something more important, and that's the Fort Valley homecoming. So we make sure we check those dates as well.
And one of the things that we talked about was, again, I asked, is this the one that we talked about with Marcia and talking about putting together those board retreats for our board members that are currently sitting on boards, and just giving them an update on Robert's rules and some other things that Attorney Reed will be helping out on, and you as well. So thank you all for doing that as well.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
One thing I would like to add, term limits. I think that should be a discussion because although we are appreciative of people wanting to serve, there's some people that's been in these positions longer than commissioners has. So I think we should let other people in the community serve on the boards as well. So I would like to discuss, it don't have to be with this meeting,
okay,
but eventually I would like us to discuss term limits on these boards.
Yes, definitely.
So Commissioner Allen, would you prefer that we do that post the retreat with
Yeah, that's fine. Whenever. It was on my mind, so I just want to put it out there because I know you're going to make it happen somewhere. We're going to have it.
Is there a recommendation that it should be a part of, if there's a discussion about?
We can do it after, because you already have all this planned. We can do it post after the retreat.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it after.
Before the procedures that the board is discussing?
No, not the nomination process. Okay. After the retreat, we can have the conversation.
And we will go back, Commissioner Hambrick, to make sure it's not in conflict with other activities.
Right.
So we'll do that. All right.
Oh, well, now I have a clarifying question. So was the October 23rd, is that the date that you are hoping to get answers about the nomination process?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
We're hoping to have all that prepared for the October, right now, tentative October 23rd retreat for all boards and authorities.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to take a moment to commend the clerk's office, like the entire clerk's office, I cannot think of Marcia's last name.
Davis.
Thank you. Clerk Marcia Davis and Deputy Clerk Ahisha for the work that they have done putting together all of the boards, who serves on the boards, their term limits, when the board meets. There had not been previously any one place in this entire county where all of the board meetings were in one place. Board meetings, board locations. I know that was a multi-month effort for you all to make sure that was all in one place. Which has allowed the COO's office to be able to get in contact with all of those board appointees for the upcoming retreat. But I just wanted to uplift the behind the scenes work, because I know y'all were working on that information for a while. So thank you for this presentation. I think my only suggestion was from the City of Atlanta. One of their boards, they actually have, I don't know their bylaws. I don't know if this is a recommendation or if it's like suggested, but when we talk about like the statutory boards, especially the ones I'm thinking about, like the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm trying not to say the acronyms, the Zoning Advisory Group that make development and real estate decisions. So in the City of Atlanta, their Urban Design Commission actually request certain positions. So their board members should be either real estate professionals or attorneys or urban planners, but they actually have slots that say, okay, like this board appointment. I think we have that for the Department of Behavioral Health. There's a requirement that someone on the board has to be a doctor.
That is correct.
And so I think this now would be a good time to have a conversation around, which of those boards should require, a professional in that industry, and make sure that it's a well-rounded board when we're talking about our board appointments and who should be on what board.
So the beauty of it, I'm sure Chief Staff Attorney have some other things to echo to that, but the beauty of the questions that were asked, it will help provide context to the information that needs to be put out either on the website or whatever the medium that we're utilizing to advertise that. So we would love for the board to be able to react and provide context to those questions. And then operationally, we can make those changes so it's more reflective of the roles, requirements, and responsibilities of the respective boards.
Sounds good. And if I can just plug the City of Forest Park, since we have some City of Forest Park officials here, or staff members here, they put out a great graphic that says when they have board appointments and information on how individuals can apply for those board appointments. So
yes,
that's a great example. That's here in Clayton County.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all I got.
Just to speak to your question about certain boards and their requirements or qualifications, we certainly would make sure that any that have those, like some have state law, that as part of the application process, we would identify which slot they are going for. So if it is a doctor, that is the person who would get that particular slot if they are actually a physician. So that's all we have, and I've already emailed you.
The only other thing I'd like to add
Sure.
is on some of these boards, if we can begin to come up and begin to create some type of training mechanism when they're going on some of these boards. It doesn't have to be in depth.
That's the purpose of October.
But yes.
In October, on October 23rd.
Not just the retreat, but just be creating
Yes.
some training mechanisms for when they do come up.
So on that point, there's a difference between, so there will be some general things.
Correct.
But just using me, for example, I am not a pediatrician. So I should not be applying to be on a pediatric board.
Correct.
So this board process will help in minimizing some of those where people say, hey, I just want to be on a board, but they may not know what all of that entails. So then when someone is, appointed, they have the experience to be on the board that they're actually being appointed to. Will minimize some of that part, like the question, like, what does this board do?
Correct.
But then have some general things about what do boards do, which we will do on an ongoing basis.
I do have several resumes that I've requested for people that have asked about boards.
But Commissioner Davis, to your question specifically, statutorily in some of those requests, they are mandatory trainings above and beyond the actual retreat that we're looking to do. The problem is, in some of it, is that when the board is brought together, oftentimes they're not given the foundation of what those statutory laws are, or better yet, they don't have the bylaws from previous boards to give a better perspective of what is already in space. So one of the things we'll do from the retreat is highlight, one, where the statutory requirements about how often you should get together and train, and the secondary to that, if you don't have bylaws in place to speak to the frequency of that, then we'll elevate that in the retreat as well.
Oh, one more thing. I almost forgot. When Commissioner Davis mentioned resumes, I want to say, Commissioner Allen, I know you have one. I have a form that goes out in my newsletters, and we've already started for persons who are interested in serving on boards or commissions. So I guess we can share that information and make sure that y'all have it. That's something that both of us have, that we have been sharing out to people in the community so they can sign up to be on boards.
That'll be great. Yes, ma'am.
All right, Commissioner Hambrick.
Well, let me just say this. I have a list of things that I was going to mention after this meeting before we end it, but since we're on this, I would like to make those recommendations now. And number one was training of the county boards and all, and I was one of those folk that you were talking about, been talking forever about boards even coming before us.
You have.
To give reports
Right.
and all. I think they are required to give minutes, send minutes in to the clerks and all, but if they would come and, just let the public know what they do and the kind of things they are doing. The other thing is, and this was mentioned earlier by Commissioner, about properties in Clay. If we could get something from the land bank office about all the properties that Clayton County owns, if we can get that. And the next thing is, some years ago, there was, some folk left already, but an ethics board that the General Assembly
Yes, ma'am.
said for Clayton County that we would have no part in. So I'm hoping I can ask this question, since we gave them, what, $200,000? I haven't heard anything. Maybe you all have talked in your C-suite meetings and all, but I haven't heard anything on what's going on. I know they don't report to us. We don't select. I don't know who's on the board. So if we could find that out, that would help, probably not only me, but the public.
Yes, ma'am. We can give you an update about the work, or more importantly, the actual, the work that they've started and where they're housed. Of course, we don't talk to them about any cases they got, anything like that, but we have played a role in housing and ensuring they get the resources they need to be able to do their jobs.
Have they spent the $200,000?
I'll check on that for you. Yes, ma'am.
That was just for 1 year, is that correct?
That was correct.
That board list is public.
But anyway, those were the things that I was going to mention anyway, so.
Okay. All right. We'll give you an update on that, Commissioner.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda will be the fuel management audit by Director Leslie Moore.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, good evening, Chairwoman Dr. Anderson Henry and Board of Commissioners. My name is Leslie Moore. I'm the Director of the Internal Audit Department. And tonight I'll be presenting the overview of recommendations that we made for the fuel management audit. So just to give a little background information regarding fuel management resides in the Transportation and Development Department, otherwise known as T&D. There are 6 fueling stations across the county, and there's 1 mobile fueling truck. And just for information, there are 4 fire stations, 1 PD sector, and there's a main fueling station. Authorized personnel have 24/7 access to utilize the fueling stations. There's a software system that the T&D department uses to manage their fuel management, and it's called the ecosystem. So I'll refer to that as ECOS throughout the presentation. And just the overall scope and objectives for the audit were to verify whether or not there were internal controls in place and operating well within the fuel management system. So finding 1, automated fuel controls were not enforced. At the time of the audit, some of the stations were still manual and not updated to the ecosystem. Since then, all stations have been upgraded to automation, so that has been taken care of. But our primary objective in reviewing the automated fuel controls were to just verify that fuel limits are being consistently applied and that any exceptions are properly documented and justified. For example, with the fuel system, the software can track fuel limits. So if there is a tank that's supposed to be filled only to 20 gallons, it would track whether or not that tank was overfilled. So it would track if someone is using the fuel for a particular vehicle and they're using the incorrect vehicle, if you follow what I'm saying.
So if it's not their vehicle?
If it's not the correct vehicle,
it's gonna let us
it
know?
would track,
Okay.
yes. So there were a couple of duplicates in the system, overfills, and we isolated in our testing some late night activity to exclude public safety between 12 midnight and 5 a.m. So the management response is that they're working on the SOP to take care of this situation. Finding number 2, invalid employee IDs were used at pumps. We identified that some of the employee IDs made it through the system and they were still able to use the pumps. And management is currently working to check with the vendor to make sure this doesn't happen in the future. Finding number 3, key fobs were not tracked and or deactivated. There are no formally established policies and procedures for the fuel management system, especially for key fobs. So the inventory manager at the time, he had a tracking spreadsheet that tracked key fob activity, including issuance and deactivations, although the process wasn't consistent. So the inconsistency primarily happened with deactivations, documentation deactivations before they were reassigned. So we recommend centralizing inventory, creating an audit trail, and performing quarterly reviews regarding the key fobs. And management is also adding that to their SOP. Fuel logs incomplete or inaccurate. We found that the stations that had manual fuel logs were not filled out completely, accurately, and that has since been rectified since all of the stations are now automated. There's only one area that's using fuel logs now, and that is the mobile fuel truck operator. Again, SOP is being developed to make sure that all fuel is accounted for accurately going forward. Finding number 5, there were some odometer readings that were incorrect. So when an employee needs to use fuel, they use a key fob, their employee ID, as well as input odometer readings. So during our testing, we found that there were some incorrect readings, and we noticed user error. For example, some odometer readings were like 44,000, for example. But the next time that particular vehicle filled up, it was rated at 4,000. So we know it's user error. So we're just hoping that it can be reiterated to all employees that they're supposed to input the correct odometer readings when they're making the fuel, not the purchases, but when they're filling their vehicles with the fuel. And finding number 6, We reviewed delivery records and documentation regarding fuel. Majority of the deliveries happen overnight, so no one's on site to actually receive documents. However, the documents that we did review, a lot of the information was missing, and the documentation gaps make it difficult to verify accuracy. So going forward, management will be utilizing what they have as the Veeder-Root system, which tracks the changes in the fuel tanks. So when deliveries happen overnight, if there are some documentation that is missing, they can use the Veeder-Root system to identify the changes in fuel, and they can track it and tie it back that way. And last but not least, finding number 7, surveillance was not regularly monitored. We conducted site visits to all the fueling locations. There were cameras present at all the locations. However, there is no scheduled or proactive monitoring in place for the fuel pumps and the surveillance. There's also a 30-day retention rate for the surveillance, so it limits the ability to support investigations or delayed reporting when it comes to the potential of fuel misuse. So management is working with IT to discuss capabilities and potential financial impact on that. And at this time, if you have any questions.
Are there any questions at this time?
I do.
All right, Commissioner Hamburg.
How many fuel stations are there?
6.
Can you give us the locations? I know 3, I think.
I don't have the addresses with me for the locations, but there are 4 fire stations, 1 PD Sector 2, and then there's the main station that's behind the courthouse.
Chief Sweat, you can come up. He has the
Okay,
locations.
yeah, because those are the one behind the courthouse I know, and the one at Government Circle, and the one at precinct, Police Precinct 2. It's not in operation? Oh, okay. So that's not counted in the 6?
No.
Oh, okay.
So, and then the 4 fire, Madam Chair,
Go ahead,
Commissioners,
go ahead.
4 fire stations are old fire station number 1, which currently serves as our current logistics hub, fire station number 2, fire station number 10 down in the South Panhandle, and fire station number 11.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, it was something else. Training. How, well, I'm not sure if you know this or not, but as far as employees knowing all these things that you're saying with these findings, I'm sure something will be put in place, if not already.
Yes.
So who does that? Who trains the employees?
Well, the vendor would be the ones that would do the training. So the ecosystem was implemented in early 2024. So when we went in, it was a new system, so the employees were still having some trouble with figuring it out. And so when we come in, we make, put different eyes on it to let them know that there are some internal control gaps so they can go back to the vendor to do more training and understand the capabilities of the system as well.
Okay, I think, were you gonna say something?
So Ms. Moore is 100% correct. One of the things that we are trying to do, or we will do a better job on, as she talked about, we should say the management or the actual team will develop what we call the SOPs, the standard operating procedures. That will reside with fleet in helping with that. So the primary issue we have is that when a person is onboarded into the system and they may be assigned a vehicle, whether or not it's part of a fleet vehicle, oftentimes fleet may not even know that person is being onboarded. They may provide the key fob and some other things, but there's no what we call immediate training of that employee when they're coming aboard. So you only can imagine when you have somebody that might get a car assigned, they may be given a key fob, and we tell them, go forth and be merry. We now need to make sure we implement a training so those individuals understand the process. We give them the vehicle policy, but the vehicle policy doesn't necessarily talk about the fuel component in space. So we'll make sure that will be integrated with the employees. When they come in play, they know all the particulars, they know all the procedures in space that's needed on the front end. So therefore, some of the areas that internal audit has identified should not be an issue moving forward.
So I gather this is not in place now, so HR won't have this for, you have training, new employee training sometime soon, I think.
No, ma'am, it's not completely. Some of the elements that she spoke to was in space, but a lot of that is not. So they're presently developing the standard operating procedures now, so that can be part of the onboarding and offboarding process. So even when a person leaves, you know, who are they turning their keys in? Will fleet know that that vehicle is no longer assigned to Dietrich or whoever it might be, so therefore it can be reassigned appropriately, so we know we can keep up with the logs appropriately.
Okay. So who does the monitoring and surveillance of the stations?
So we have
Of the fueling stations?
We have a fleet manager in place, but oftentimes, to Leslie's point, that's always during operating hours. So public safety is 24/7. So a lot of the times when they're using the main station or a fire station, or they're utilizing the sectors as the fueling point, there's nobody physically in space. So oftentimes we have to rely on the cameras and of course the Arnold code, that you know, personal code of responsibility, that you're not gouging or using another vehicle to fill up your vehicle. So we need to find out another way for which we can monitor that on those times that we know that the fueling station is not actually being attended by a fuel attendant.
Thank you.
I have a question. When our employees leave, is there a checklist that you all give to, like each department gives to that employee? If there's a key that has to be turned in, if there's a computer that has to be turned in, is there a checklist that they give? And in that checklist, is it included for the if you're turning in your key fob and things of that nature? Is that something that we do as a county, or that we have in place for our directors at this time?
It's in space, but it's very spotty.
Okay.
We know that we need to kind of tie it down to be more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends upon the nature of the departure of the employee and the department it is in, and how quickly we're looking to retrieve that information. So we're all looking to try to tie down a better offboarding process for all of our employees when they're leaving, to make sure that we do secure the county's equipment at the end.
Okay.
Do we have a date for any of these changes to be implemented?
Quite a few. Met with Director Ambles and, ironically, and Chief Information Officer Hutchison today about some of our coding around Munis and how do we have these checkpoints in place. That was dealing more with personnel and onboarding individuals. So in our next leadership meeting, we're highlighting some of that, which is next week. And then we're looking to hopefully have some of these SOPs ready to rock and roll by sometime mid-October.
Okay, question, how often, I guess this is for, how often do you do this audit?
This was actually the very first time that we've conducted this audit. Okay. So there will be a follow-up, because there was a management response recorded as to when certain corrective actions would be put into place.
So what, how did this all come about? Like, what prompted you guys to do the audit?
It was just a request from the CFO.
Oh, well, I guess then, Mr. CFO, what prompted you to do the audit, to request this audit? I'm just curious.
A couple of months ago, we started inventory of all county vehicles. So that's what prompted it, to take a look at also the fuel management system as well.
Is this like you think this is going to save the county some money?
Absolutely. I think once we're able to put in place some internal controls, and maybe I would go even so far as to say find a decent firm to manage that system, we would definitely see cost savings over time.
Okay, thank you.
And also, we definitely need to be auditing who's using the gas, because like you said, we have people that are coming up to the pump that do they work here? You said you had some people after hours that were using it?
That's a conversation for
okay. Well,
offline.
I'm transparent, so I want
Right.
everybody want to be transparent. Let it be said. So again, we need to make sure that we are monitoring our pumps. We are monitoring who's using those pumps, and that they actually work for the county, and that we're doing what's right. So thank you for this audit. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Oh, are there any other questions at this time?
Yeah, it's both for the COO's office and also for interim direct. Are you still interim? Interim director Rowling, because if I remember correctly, T&D has some of the highest vacancy rates in the county, as far as just being understaffed. Let's use that language. And I know building and maintenance gave an incredible presentation, and that was also identified. And so just hearing this presentation, and I know you all sent this information in advance, can you talk a little bit about, is there a position, like is there someone in place who oversees that? Like, if I remember the T&D org chart, there are some, you are the department head, but there are divisions underneath transportation and development. So can you talk about like which division that fleet, or does this fall under fleet? Is there a position, or is the position above fleet, is that still vacant?
Yeah. So certainly interim director Rowling can provide some more context to his org structure. Mm-hmm. So your first question, you talked about specifically about the need, because the number of vacancies that are presently in the Transportation Development Department. Mm-hmm. Interim Director Rowland has done a great job in identifying those, and he has provided a plan of action. But we're trying to be mindful of the board's direction about the mid-year point, working with the CFO and others with regard to how do we bring that to you all in more of a strategic way, mm-hmm. opposed to having a knee-jerk reaction. Mm-hmm. And so you will see those requests coming back to this board in some form of a request based upon the vacancies that he's spoken of. The 6 or 7 fueling stations that we're talking about, the only one that's manned is the main fueling station behind the jail. So the fuel attendant that we have in space would be housed there. Mm-hmm. If there are some nefarious actions that are taking place at the other fueling stations, they're not manned by T&D or fleet maintenance, because they're at a fire station or they're at a police station or substation, and so those areas are not manned by an attendant. The only one that's in question would be the main fueling station. But I think part of the SOP, if we find out that there are some areas that provides us a greater exposure from some derelict action of someone, then we may be making a request to look at having those areas manned by someone to ensure that we can monitor those spaces. But the only one right now that's being monitored would be the main fueling station behind the jail.
That wasn't my question. My question was more about the levels of leadership within T&D. I know Ms. Moore mentioned this was the first time that this audit was conducted, and so I'm just thinking through just staffing levels with T&D, and if there were more, can I say leadership positions, like division heads, because those positions, they're fully funded.
Well, I didn't answer the question.
It's not an additional cost.
Fleet maintenance is not a staff. There's not a fueling staff. There's fleet maintenance with a manager, and we have different levels of inspectors 1s, 2s, 3s that take care of the different mechanical needs within the department. Mm-hmm. But as it pertains to the fueling station, we have one full-time, and that's vacant.
Oh, okay. Well, that answers that question. But what is the next position above fleet? Because if I am remembering, and I don't have the chart in front of me, but if I'm remembering correctly, the top of the T&D department is director, assistant director, and then there are several divisions, because there's traffic, landfill has one. But again, you are the department director, so you can list what those positions are.
I think our question is, what are the divisions within transportation and development? So then we can then plug in specifically what questions may come from those respective divisions. So
something like that.
Right.
Okay.
Mr. Rowan.
We do have fleet, engineering services, administration, traffic engineering, landfill,
public works,
and public works are our, what we call our field division. which is all the guys that go out and do the roadway maintenance. But fleet is its own division, and Jason Long is our director or leadership of that. And he does have 2 people that typically work with the fueling center. And part of their duties is to monitor the system ECOS on a daily basis, along with the VITA route, which tells us how much fuel we have, so that we can make sure that we schedule our deliveries on a daily basis. That's what the person that's missing is supposed to be doing.
So
But
that position that would have caught this, let's call it a discrepancy, because because that position is vacant, this wasn't caught earlier. Is that fair
Well,
to say? Okay.
No. No. The position has been vacant for 8 months, I think.
Okay.
So that, or essentially vacant for 8 months, but that position handles the fueling, or the fuel ordering and monitoring of the tanks.
That's it? Not the...
Basically.
Okay.
But the other positions that are there also back that one up, as well as monitor the ecosystem. And one of the things that I've just implemented is there's only going to be one person handling the key fobs, whereas several people know how to do it now. There's one machine, and I'm pulling that machine into our office so that there's only one person that does that. And there's also supposed to be some tracking with if a key fob gets lost, that there's going to be a form for the department head of that person to sign and send to me saying that they acknowledge it, and we will be deactivating that fob and issuing a new one.
All right, thank you all, and we're going to start wrapping this up at this time. You all can have a seat.
I actually had a follow-up question. I was not done with my questions.
I'll let you do the follow-up question, but after this, we're getting ready to wrap it up. Thank you.
Not how meetings work. I know that T&D is one of the departments that had a lot of vacancies, and this is, Mr. CFO, how much money is it that the county, never mind, we're not gonna go there.
All right, thank you
What
all.
is the next level of leadership underneath director and assistant director?
It's the division heads.
And how many of those division heads are vacant currently?
2.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys for your presentation. We truly appreciate it as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the Board of Commissioners work session is adjourned. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and our meeting is adjourned as of 7:56 p.m. You all have a great rest of your evening. Thank you.